Briahna Joy Gray was the national press secretary for Bernie Sanders. And what's interesting now that Sanders has dropped out of the Democratic primary is the way that she's being treated by establishment types, individuals, private citizens who support establishment types, because these are the very people who claim that they were turned off to Bernie Sanders due to his toxic fan base, due to the behavior of Sanders supporters online. But they never take a mirror to themselves and question whether their own behavior is a little toxic. So recently, Briahna Joy Gray shared some photoshopped images that these people have been sending her. On Facebook, she wrote, thinking about how Biden supporters immediately photoshopped these images of me as essential workers in an effort to demean me, and what it says about how much they actually care about working class people. Anyway, keep fighting and don't take your moral guidance from those folks who treat working people as a punchline. And then in that post, she shared some of the examples, including Briahna Joy Gray photoshopped as a trash collector, and one other image of her photoshopped as a McDonald's worker. Now, obviously, these are essential workers. These are people who dutifully do their jobs. They contribute to society. There's no reason to ever insult them in any way, shape, or form. They deserve to get paid more. But obviously, some of Biden's supporters don't think that they're a valuable part of society, which is why they decided to try insulting Briahna Joy Gray by photoshopping her into these types of images.
Yeah, so I'm going to get to the punchline in a second, but apparently Biden hasn't apologized for his Biden bros.
When is he going to apologize?
Yeah,
when is he going to condemn this disgusting behavior? He is responsible for this. He is fostering this type of political climate.
And it's not one person. And I've seen it myself way before those particular pictures. I don't know anyone these days attacked online as much as Briahna Joy Gray is. Congratulations, Briahna. You passed me. I
mean, look, I understood the importance of preventing Donald Trump from getting reelected. But then I saw how vicious Biden supporters were on social media. And then I questioned, is it really? I mean, that's the kind of commentary we heard from these types of people throughout the primary, right?
Yeah.
Well, I really like Bernie Sanders. I really do. I like the policy proposals that he's putting forth. But some random anonymous people on Twitter have been using snake emojis against Elizabeth Warren, and that really turned me off. So I'm going to go ahead and not vote for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to punch myself in the face and deny myself the policies that I like because the mainstream media told me that randos online represent Bernie Sanders. Now, what's interesting is all of a sudden the mainstream media doesn't think that of Joe Biden. So when thousands of his supporters attack Nina Turner, David Sirota, Briahna Joy Gray, and you name it, all of a sudden they aren't Biden bros, and that toxic behavior online doesn't matter at all. It's amazing how that works, and they can't see that bias. All right, now the next part is, so what's the punchline here? Well, the punchline for the folks who are making fun of Briahna Joy Gray is, now you're out of work because you thought you were going to get a position of power and privilege in the Bernie Sanders administration, but you're not. We're going to get the jobs in the Biden administration, and you're going to be a garbage worker or a McDonald's worker. So let's break down the two components of that. Number one, how are they any different than MAGA guys, the worst Trump supporters, making fun of AOC for being a bartender? I'm not sure I see any difference at all, okay? And then number two, the people attacking Briahna Joy Gray are actually worse than the elites in a sense, because they're the saddest people in America. They're the people who are kissing the ass of the elites to try to get the crumbs off their table. And so when they see someone strong and proud like Briahna or Nina, oh, that gets under their skin. You know why? Because it embarrasses them. They thought that, hey, we're all bootlickers, right? We got to do what we got to do. God damn it, she won't, comply. She actually has her own opinion, and she's strong and independent. That embarrasses the rest of us. Let's make fun of her and call her a garbage worker. Oh my God, if that's your life, you're the saddest person alive, because you don't even get the advantage of being an elite. You don't get the money. All you get is a tiny little pat on the head that they give from you and a little job so that, you can, make a living and feel good about yourself and feel like you have a tiny bit of power and privilege. So sad.
And by the way, I mean, you're mentioning random people on Twitter who are going after her and photoshopping her in this way. But there were former Hillary Clinton staffers who did something on the day that Bernie Sanders dropped out that was very Donald Trump-esque. Okay, so there was a tweet shared about it. We talked about it on the show earlier this week, but this is a good summary. Less than an hour after Bernie Sanders said he was ending his campaign, dozens of staffers who worked for Hillary Clinton 4 years ago received a link to a Zoom video call scheduled for 4 p.m. And the title was Invitation, Bye Bye Bernard, Hillary for America Celebration Toast. So it's not just random people. These are actual operatives, Democratic operatives, people who worked as staffers for Hillary Clinton's campaign, people who worked for Hillary for America, clearly. I mean, they think this type of behavior is totally fine when they get to engage in it. But if they see random private citizens on any social media platform saying something they don't like, they will weaponize it against the candidate that they support.
Could you imagine if Bernie Sanders staffers got together in a celebratory party when Hillary Clinton lost?
Can you imagine hating someone simply because they want to make sure that people don't die due to a lack of health care? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine hating someone because he wants to cancel all student loan debt? Can you imagine hating someone who believes that housing should not be some privilege, but should be given to everyone, regardless of their financial situation? Can you imagine hating that person? I can't. But the vast majority of Democratic operatives can. They despise Bernie Sanders more than they despise Donald Trump. And that says something.
So for those Hillary Clinton staffers, that Zoom call, is power ranking number one for call I'd like the most is Zoom bomb. Okay. Mm-hmm. And if I got into that middle of that call, I was like, hey guys, how you doing? It's Cenk. They're like, I'm like, by the way, I just got on here to say that you guys are all losers. You all collectively are the ones that lost to Donald Trump with an average IQ. I mean, his IQ is lower than 70. So what's yours? It's got to be
dumbest president of all time. And they lost to him. You guys
lost to the dumbest person who's ever run for office. So I'm doing a Zoom call with progressives celebrating how stupid you guys are and how you're the worst political operatives, consultants, lobbyists in the history of America. By the way, I said something along those lines on social media. And of course, what was the reaction from the Biden bros and the Hillary, whatever they are? They're like, Cenk, you are so rude. They got together to do a call to celebrate that Bernie Sanders lost in a race they're not even in. But the mainstream media and the establishment is so blind, so biased that they're like, oh, them celebrating his loss is perfectly great and no problem at all. But you criticizing them, it's so uncivil. It's this guy, no civility, I can't believe how petty he is. They just can't see straight, man. So Briahna, Nina Turn, David Sirota, all you guys, go get him, man. So we got all the under 45-year-olds. Their days are numbered. Let them enjoy their Zoom calls where they all high five. We're the worst, right? But somebody else other than us lost. Oh, we're so happy. Okay, enjoy that while it lasts.